Good evening and welcome to this BirthBliss Academy special World Doula Week live session. And with me here tonight in the BirthBliss Academy studio, I have the lovely...
I'm Dani Diosi, hello.
And I'm Siobhan Smith, hi.
So we thought since it is World Doula Week, I thought we'd kick off by talking a little bit about becoming a doula as a starting point. So you both came on the doula course and did some training. What kind of brought you here? What were you doing, Dani, when you decided to become a doula?
Well, my background's in antenatal education, and I was sort of doing a few unofficial doula births, but it was actually Siobhan.
It's always Siobhan's
who suggested you should become a doula officially. Okay, a really good idea. Which is why I did your course.
Yes.
And it was a real eye-opener. I mean, the course was great fun. It was, lots of stuff that actually, even though I thought I knew a lot of theory, because I've been in antenatal education for a long time, actually kind of how you relate that to being in the birthing room, and certainly being in at birth. Yeah. It's completely, you can know all the theory in the world, but actually being there with couples whilst they're actually going through labour, it really has helped me progress in my understanding of everything as well.
So would you say your practice as in antenatal education has changed since you've become a doula?
100%.
Yeah.
I think, I don't quite know how people would go about it, but I think even if you're just going to be an antenatal teacher, not even going to be a doula, I think you need to attend births because... the theory's all very well, but actually kind of being in there, working with the couples, interacting with the midwives and the doctors, it's very different in real life than it is on paper.
It's a really good point to make because you, as you say, you can have really academic education and know all the ins and outs of everything that could possibly happen during a birth. But then when you're there in the actual birth, you realise that theory doesn't work really a lot of the time.
Because you're dealing with real emotions. You're dealing with the birthing couple. You're obviously dealing with, the midwives and the doctors having to do their thing, which may or may not always be in line with what the birthing couple are kind of wanting or hoping for.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of... as we said, the theory and the understanding of the process is all very good for understanding the physiology of birth, but it's being there, sort of in the front of it, so to speak.
So even if you are a birth professional already then and trained in whatever kind of field you are trained in, I guess still coming on a doula course definitely will help in those areas too.
Yeah. And I think it helps you. I don't know how you feel, but I think it's a real way of helping you learn about yourself as well, and kind of, pushing yourself to your real physical limitations, emotional ones, and how you can be everything for this couple and obviously still kind of be there for your family and your friends, and that's a learning curve as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to take in. So I'll just ask you, Siobhan, because you didn't come from a birth.
No, I didn't come from a birth background, so the only experience I had of the birth world when I did your training course was my own 3 births. And I sat in your training course with my mouth open, like astonished, finding out all about these hormones and considering I'd given birth 3 times myself, all very different births. It wasn't till my 3rd birth that I kind of thought, I've got this now, I know what I'm doing. I learned so much even though I'd given birth myself. There was just so much there's so much you just don't know that's not taught to you. It's not just black and white.
No, absolutely. And also what we learn about birth from school, from media, from all the films or Hollywood, it's just nothing like that. No. So it's it's often the case that parents think, well, I'm just get there and the midwife will tell me what to do. And that's not always the case. So it's really tricky.
But I think if you're thinking about becoming a doula, it's usually because you're a people person, aren't you? It doesn't matter what background you've come from, be it admin or some sort of, I don't know, something completely obscure, completely different from the birth world. It's if you are a people person and you want to support people, and you have that draw to the maternity world and birth and babies. I think they're the sort of the foundations that you need.
Yeah.
And then obviously the course will help explore how you might develop that.
I agree, because I think the women that come on my course, we have dental nurses. I have quite a lot of student midwives that left the second year and then decided they wanted to be doulas. I have women midwives that are not midwives anymore, health visitors, and then I have hairdressers, I have accountants, solicitors. So it's like really from all walks of life. Police, women, social workers.
Just like mothers.
Exactly.
From all different backgrounds.
Absolutely. And they all come into the doula work for different reasons. Some of them, maybe they're yoga teachers and just want to have more antenatal education to give to the women that come on their courses. So it's not all of them coming into it to be professional doulas or whatever you want to call it.
I think it's also having, like you said, Siobhan, loving birth. And all things. It's not about the baby. You know, I mean, yes, if you're going to be sort of the postnatal doula side and you do love being around babies, then that's obviously a bonus. But it's about being there for the mother and her partner, isn't it? And it's about that empathy and the sort of teamwork.
Absolutely. I agree completely. It's for the women. We're actually there, when you look at it, is supporting women having a baby and becoming mothers. I think that's really and like you say, I think you qualify to be a doula by being someone that's caring, someone that is compassionate, friendly, and want to help and support women find their feet. I think that is all you need.
Absolutely.
So the other kind of thing is, after you come on a doula course, of course, then you have the support afterwards. What would you say is some really good tips for new doulas? As part of BirthBliss Academy, I offer a lot of support, and I try to give a lot of help with running your own business. But what else are good things you can do?
I think connecting with other doulas in your 100%, area.
100%, because, even though you can talk to your friends about birth you've been at, they're not that interested.
Your husband?
He's quite good, but they're not quite. They don't necessarily get it in the same way. They're usually disgusted that you kind of seen some other woman's vagina. They're kind of like, I don't want to know. But sort of talking to another doula who really understands the sort of emotional journey that you go through.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, find sort of a doula buddy to offload on and vice versa.
Because it's not really that kind of job where it like cutthroat business where this is my patch, that's your patch.
No, it shouldn't be at all.
I believe that the more doulas we get in one area, the more knowledge, awareness there will be of doulas. So there will be more women looking for doulas rather than someone saying, I seem to be the only doula here. That's great, which is not really, because it's hard to get.
There's only so many births you can do at a time.
Absolutely.
Without burning out yourself and maybe not sort of being able to support the couples to the best of your ability. But it's just about that fact that because with the best will in the world, we sometimes have emergencies.
Of course.
Which means that we might not be able to be there for a client. And knowing that you've got someone who's on the same wavelength as you, works the same way as you, and knowing that if that did happen, your couple would be in good hands. Such a weight off your shoulders.
So we do a lot of shared care. So we team up and work with a couple.
So how does that work in theory? Who goes to the interview? What
we both do?
Okay.
Yeah. So shared care is we equally share the care of the couple or the woman. And we both go to the interview. So obviously if they're going to employ you, they're employing, they have to get to know both of you. And they see how we work together. And then we both attend the antenatal sessions with them. We're both in communication with them the whole way through. And then when it comes to the on-call period, which for us is 24 days we cover.
All right.
So we do 10 days before the due date up to week 42.
Okay.
So we divide that up between us, and we give them a schedule of who's on call on what day, and then on the day that they go into labour, they would call whichever doula is on the schedule for that day.
Excellent.
And that doula will attend the birth. It works well because if it's a very, very long birth as well, you can tag team in and out, and it's quite a smooth transition because they've got to know you both
and it
really
doesn't
well
disrupt the couple. But it's also, I mean, I had a birth the other month where it was a long one, and I was there sort of,
they come along
through
now
the night.
again.
Yes,
Hopefully.
They do. And the thing that I had in my mind was that I was teaching a hypnobirthing course the following day.
Okay.
And what I was worried about was if I get back at this time, then I'll be able to have this many hours sleep before I teach. And as this was going on and on and on, I thought, that's not looking likely. So the fact that I could text Siobhan and say, look, if we're not done by this time this evening, are you able to come and take over?
Yes.
And, you know, she could have... The baby was born by that stage, but it just meant that actually I could relax rather than kind of watching the clock and counting. I'm not going to get sleep. I'm going to have to go to work tomorrow and teach completely exhausted. But it's really helpful knowing that someone's there if you really need a break.
Because we're all self-employed. All doulas are self-employed women. I mean, even if you join Doula UK, you know, you're under the umbrella of Doula UK, but you're still a self-employed woman.
Yes.
And it can be lonely.
Yeah.
So it's good to have, you know, have your village around you. You know, of other doulas and other people who could support you.
I would say that what a really important thing to do if you're going to be doing shared care is that you agree on the payments and so it's very clear.
Oh, absolutely.
You have clear boundaries on, because I know that is an area sometimes where, you know, if you're not very good at thinking business-like, or you see it as we do each other a favor, or you're thinking, I'm sure she will pay me something. It's really, which I know you have all that sorted, but that's the one thing I would say if you're going to be doing shared care and working with other doulas. One of the first things you sit down and work out is, okay, how are we going to split this?
I mean, I think it's different from backup, doing the odd few days backup.
Yes,
and we've got an arrangement, and I know sort of, you know, similarly,
I joined
that if there's a couple of days, then we'll kind of cover for that, knowing that the same would happen in return. But shared care is a definite sort of
absolutely.
Part. We keep the sum aside for whoever attends the birth. And then the rest of it just split down the middle. So you don't get as much as if you were doing it on your own.
No, but you don't get inconvenience.
You're on half the length of time,
you
know, and you've got that person at the end of the phone who knows the couple equally as well as you. So you've got somebody you can, you know, just soundboard off really.
Yes, because I guess one of the things, if you are a doula, what some of the things that are the hardest with being a doula, what would that be?
I'd say the hardest is if you're working as a birth doula, the hardest thing is the on-call.
Yes.
Because your whole life has to be put on hold.
You
can arrange to go out with your friends and your husband and your family, but it's always that, well, I could get called out.
That's the classic line that all doulas say to anyone saying, can we do this on Friday? And every doula will say, well, we can, unless I'm at a birth.
I find the nights without any sleep very hard. Very hard. I mean, you go through kind of waves of utter exhaustion when you're sort of desperately thinking, oh my God, I hope I'm making sense here. And then you feel better for a bit. And then it kind of hits you again. And, you know, you get to the end of a long stint and you just, you don't know what to do first, how you're even going to get home. That is
because it's very different from a midwife. You know, if a midwife is working night shifts, then she will sleep in the day. Whereas we're still running our businesses and running our families in the day. And usually 9 out of 10 times the call to a birth will come at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
And I don't know about you, but because usually you get a call to say kind of, I think things might be happening. And I always try, I'm going to go to bed now.
But you can't sleep. No,
you can't sleep.
You lie there going, I must sleep.
But it is this kind of release, isn't it? I find that when you get that call, it's that, I'm not on call anymore.
No, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen, and I go.
Unless you get the calls which are, I think something's happening. Oh no, it's a false alarm. Okay, I think something's happening now.
For a week.
No, it's still a false alarm.
Or the call comes at 42 weeks, where you've already done your full on call.
The best ones are definitely when the call comes just as you've got on the call. Because you're like, yay!
So, but I mean, that's just part of the job, I guess. But the reason why we put up with that, or you know, see that as the little part of the job that is all the positives. So what is it so brilliant about being a doula? I know what I think is so brilliant, but what would you say then?
I think for me, I think it's just seeing a woman say that when her baby's born, I did it.
Yeah.
That look on her face.
When
she, especially, as doulas, we do work with women who perhaps haven't had such a great experience with their first birth.
Exactly.
And they're looking to sort of empower themselves and, get more support for their subsequent births.
Yes.
And for them to sort of say, I did that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean she gave birth in water with candles around her. No. But she's just felt like she's felt empowered and she's felt... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And to me, that and a dad crying gets me every time.
I love it when a dad cries. Yeah. I mean, I think also the... it sounds really kind of like twee to say it, but that point when the baby's born, it's always like, it's a baby. It's a miracle. It is. And it's just, I find it absolutely awe-inspiring every single time. And I think one thing to me that kind of captures what a doula does is I had one client and she was in that transition bit and she was kind of getting a bit freaked out. And I said to her, you've got this and I've got you.
Yes.
And
that was it. That was the best. I have to say, I don't think you could ever get bored of seeing a baby before.
No,
ever.
never.
It's just no way. It's so magical. It's like you become addicted to the whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. So it's absolutely.
It's also seeing the partner. Watch their partner. Produce this life. They suddenly have this newfound respect for them, and in awe of what they've just done. Absolutely.
Yeah. So so we're kind of coming halfway through, or we've been going for 15 minutes. I think some more people are joining in. So I think they don't know who my special guests are here tonight. So I'm just going to reintroduce you one more time.
Not so special.
So I'm Kicki Hansard. I actually never did introduce myself from the beginning. So I'll do that now. So I'm the founder of the BirthBliss Academy, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But we have.
So I'm Dani Diosi. I'm a doula, hypnobirthing practitioner, and practitioner trainer.
Soon to be.
And I'm Siobhan Smith. I'm a doula, and I'm a doula mentor with Doula UK.
Okay, so brilliant. So that's my special guests. Well, Siobhan is already on the BirthBliss Academy team because she is like the doula coach, and she helps out. We have every month we do a live session in our private Facebook group, which you will be able to join if you become a BirthBliss doula. Dani's joining the BirthBliss Academy team because she's coming with me to Shanghai in May, where I go to teach doula courses with I'm working with Birthlight actually. So it's BirthBliss and Birthlight that do the doula courses in Shanghai. But Dani's going over to do the
hypnobirthing training, so teaching the people who've done Kicki's doula course how to be hypnobirthing practitioners as well, either to kind of set up to do that or to use it in their doula practice. Very exciting.
But you're also going to be running those courses here in the UK.
Yes, I am. So the plan at the moment is we're going to be teaching a course here in October. I think just after one of your doula training courses, actually.
So more details coming soon.
Watch this space.
Yes, watch this space.
So doulas can then go on your course and learn how to be.
So it's either for people who've done doula, who already doulas, or you don't have to be a doula to do the course. But I think it's very useful for doulas to understand about hypnobirthing. There's lots of different types out there. But at least having an understanding, no matter what type their client might be doing, of what it is they're doing, how it's enhancing the birth process, how they can help that. And because I'm totally independent. It's not kind of having to
you don't have to be affiliated with a certain brand. Okay, that sounds really good.
I like it. It's going to be brilliant. I like some of the really good ideas you have with the way you're going to be teaching hypnobirthing. So I'm really excited. I'm going to come on your course. Yay! Can't wait. So talking about, we were talking there about shared care and working with other doulas, and how important it is to have your doula village. Kind of the doulas around you that support you and listen to you and help you out. And that's part of when I set up BirthBliss, the BirthBliss Academy and the doula course that's been running for 6 years now. That was something that's really important for me, because I think that if we can establish and have little groups around the country, and I'm relying on all the BirthBliss doulas now, the BBDs, to come together and support each other. And I think we have to do it regionally, because it does seem to a lot of women, especially that are thinking about coming to be doulas, or even women that live outside of the big cities, to look into having a doula. So it feels for many very London, central to London and the big cities in the UK. So I think this is something we have to change. And for someone that thinks, well, is there any business out there? You know, can you really make a living being a doula? Well, my answer to that, it would be that there's usually around 800,000 births every year in the UK.
People are always going to be having babies.
Exactly. And there's there's 700 members of Doula UK, and maybe there's 1,000 doulas.
Yeah.
You know, say there's a few that are not members of Doula UK. Still, there are not enough doulas to support those 800,000 births and postnatal support. So I think one of the big things we should be doing and are doing is promoting doulas in the whole of the country and the whole of the world, because I really think the way babies come into this world and the support mothers get during the birth, but also postnatally, is having a huge impact on, you know, everyone, the society, the planet, the world.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So it's an important job.
I mean, a lot of the time people will say to me, well, why does somebody, you know, why would they want you at the birth? Why would they want a stranger at the birth? And actually, I'm not the stranger. The midwife that's going to be there to support them on the day is the stranger, because they've never met her before.
Yeah.
So actually, as a doula, you get to know your clients really well.
Yeah.
From the minute they book you, which most clients will contact us. That's sort of towards the end of the
first trimester.
Around 20 weeks.
Around 20 weeks.
When they had their scan.
So you know that's 20 weeks worth of getting to know your client really, really well. So actually, when it comes to the birth, you know, they know you know them really, really well. So we're not the strangers in the birth
Very
room.
true. Because, Dani, what are some of the things that you'll hear? Maybe in your antenatal courses, even women say, or couples say, why would you want to have a doula? Or...
Yeah, I mean, I think they feel that you get in the way of the partner.
Yes.
You know, are you taking over the partner's role?
Yes.
And I always explain, well, actually, you're kind of there to support the partner too.
Absolutely.
But it means that the partner can get on with kind of supporting his partner.
Yes.
In the way that they work as a couple.
Absolutely.
And then you're kind of keeping the space safe. I mean, people say to me, oh, so you do this for women who don't have anybody.
Yes.
So actually, the majority of my clients have got their other half. There's only, I think, a couple I've done for
I can name
various reasons that, you know, he wasn't there. But I think that's an important part of it as well, that kind of making it safe. I think for them, it's just having somebody to look up at and for you to go,
that's it.
I think I always say to my clients, you know, to the partners, you know, I'm your wingman.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the one that, you know, if your partner is in the corner mooing like a cow and you look at me and go, is that normal? And I say, yeah, that's fine.
And that's good.
You can relax and carry on, let her moo away. You know, it's fine. Yeah. Because having your partner on their own to support you there's that famous saying, isn't there? It's like having someone to be your tour guide in a country they've never been to, speaking a language they don't understand.
Yes. And I think especially because a lot of the time to be that sort of birth support, it is just about being there. It is just about a look or a touch. And generalisation, I know, and I hold my hands up apologetically, but the majority of male partners like to be able to fix things.
Yes.
And there's not a lot you can fix about birth. You just have to kind of, you know,
let it happen.
Let it happen.
And that's really frustrating.
I think
for
it
many
is.
people.
And I think that's why often, you know, couples will end up going into hospital early because the partner just wants to hand over that responsibility to somebody else.
I often also talk about the doula being like the air hostess. So you know you're on a flight, and she's but also she's pushing her little tea trolley around, and there starts to be some turbulence. and I always look at her and see what if she looks worried. If she looks fine, then everything's going well. And like you explained, like you both are saying, it's that kind of just sometimes like that. It's going well. She's doing really well.
And that's all they need.
Yeah, and you don't get in the way, because you can free the man or the woman, that the other birth partner, up to be whatever works for them. But there's no pressure. They don't have to be the one to make the decisions. Do we go to hospital now? Does something need to happen? Is this really right? Do we need to do this? Or can we wait? And it's just having someone there that's going, because we don't tell midwives what to do. We don't tell doctors what to do. We don't tell anyone what to do.
It's not our job to tell anyone.
We don't even we don't tell women or our partner or their partners what to do. We don't have an agenda, but we're just kind of there in the background, that kind of presence to say to they can turn to. Is this fine? So,
and I think every job is different. I mean, I've been at births where it's a real two-man effort between the partner and me. He's holding one hand, I'm holding the other. I'm turning on the TENS machine, he's giving her the gas and air. And she actually said, how do people do this with just one partner? Other births I've been at, literally I'm sat in the corner. He is being amazing, but he can be amazing because he knows that I'm there. So it's different for every single job, but it's not invading somebody's intimate moment.
And also those partners that are on their own, they often feel like they can't eat and they can't drink and they can't even sit down because
the room.
They're not the ones giving birth, so they daren't even take a bite of a sandwich. And they end up absolutely exhausted at the end of it. So if you've got the doula there, the partner can step out of the room, go and get a hot meal, knowing that their partner is with somebody they've built a relationship up with and they have their best interests at heart.
Because that's the other thing that lots of pregnant couples believe, is that why do you need a doula? You have a midwife. Which actually is... That was the midwife's role. It's always been with wife, the woman that is with the woman that's having a baby. But due to the system that the majority of midwives are forced to work within, even though we heard some good news this week from Jeremy Hunt, but we're not keeping our fingers we're keeping our fingers crossed. There's a lot of midwives retiring, there's a lot of other things going on, but the midwife usually has to look after more than one woman. So often couples are left, especially in early labour. There's a point where the midwife likes to stay, but it depends on many things. So a lot of couples are often disappointed, that they get to hospital and then they're actually on their own a lot of the time. And also depending on how busy it is,
and the midwives, the hospitals, they are under a lot of stress.
I know. They wanted to midwives for the same reason we wanted to be doulas,
but they've got all the medical side.
Exactly, which is so different. And I do completely appreciate that they have.
It's a very hard balancing act for them to try and actually be with the woman and tick all their boxes at the same time. It's really difficult.
And their medical checks and all the stuff that they have to do.
That's why often, when we go into hospitals, the midwife's like, oh, fantastic.
I was going to say.
Brilliant. Okay, that's great.
Because we are a help to them too. And because we need to be a team. We need to be a team with the midwife, with everyone we're going to come in contact with, because we want the woman and her partner and the baby, of course, to have a positive experience.
I think it's really important, actually, to sort of just picking up on that point, that we are respectful of the midwives and the consultants, especially because they're experience maybe with very sort of medicalised births, and they are there for the kind of the medical checks and obviously those things that are very important.
The health of the mother and the baby is solely in their hands.
Absolutely. I think that there is 100% place for everyone.
Absolutely, but we can all work together as a team.
It makes it tricky for them to be able to do all the things in the system they're working in. So that's why having a doula, we have lots of research as well. It's not just us sitting here saying that. There's been so many studies, and there's a big Cochrane review of doula, or continuous support for women in labour, and the conclusion in that study is that a doula, someone that's not actually part of the family, part of the medical team, and has limited training, which is what doulas have, are the best actually birth companion to have, because they will make the biggest difference. So if women knew this, this is always going to be a good thing to have a doula.
I mean, that's another thing that sometimes comes up. Someone will say, well, why wouldn't they have their mother or their sister or their friend? And yes, you know, most women have got that female support already in their community. But the thing is, your mother, your sister, your friend, they're only coming at it from their own personal experience.
Yes.
And there's the emotional attachment as well.
Yeah.
So, we don't have that emotional attachment.
No.
We are there solely supporting them in their choices.
Yeah. I mean, that's not to say that we're kind of emotionless.
No,
it's obviously we don't have the same.
Yeah, I mean, if your mother's there, and what I often say to clients is, you're her baby.
Yes.
Having a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's going to want to be able to do it for you.
Yeah. But which is kind of a trap that doulas can fall into too, this whole thing of rescuing women, preventing them from having the experience, whatever that may be. You have to walk alongside the woman and the couple and guide them on the way rather than take over, because you want to kind of prevent, I'll call the midwife, the head of midwifery, and arrange an appointment for you. When actually we want to encourage the woman to do that herself. Yeah. We want to encourage her and her partner to speak up for themselves, and that's what we do. So it's kind of not becoming too much like a mum, even though we are mothering the mother. It's about giving, or I don't think you can empower someone personally. I think you can help someone claim their own power by giving them the information, by giving them the space to say, no, this is how I want to do it.
Yeah.
That's
I think knowing that they've got someone supporting them gives them a lot more sort of courage to actually say no.
Yes.
Or can I ask what the alternative would be? Or, anything along those lines.
And I think, when you start out as a doula, one of the hardest things to learn to do is nothing.
Yeah.
Just being is very difficult.
Yeah, we should be called Doulas, not doulas. Yeah. Because we actually do less, be less.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So we need to work on that a bit, I think.
Yeah, maybe that was
Go back to the drawing board, but I like where you're going.
Yes. But we're chatting away and talking a lot. I don't know, do you have any questions on the other side there watching us? I'm hoping you're still here. That you're enjoying our conversation, and please, we're going to be answering some questions if you have any for us towards the end of the hour. So please do type your questions away, and I have my assistant who is picking up the questions, and she will be bringing them to me. Here. Yes, we have the
floor manager.
Yeah, well, she's actually the producer,
floor manager,
cameraman, camera, sound, lighting, and also. She's doing
glam squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and photographer. Not to forget. So she will be bringing
multi-talented.
Very much so. So another thing I wanted to talk a little bit more about, the whole idea. I think the biggest challenge for women that come into becoming doulas is the whole entrepreneurial side.
Yes,
and I don't know. I really want to help women on that side, but what?
I think your course does, though.
I think you do a lot. Yeah,
you are more than just a doula training course.
I hope so. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you are. you do. It goes way beyond that, and obviously that's something that people don't see until they've actually gone through the BirthBliss training. But you do offer the ongoing support with social media, with business. With their setting themselves up. And, a lot of women will need that, because many people, I was quite privileged. I was quite lucky that, I've been self-employed since I was 23 years old. So it wasn't that was...
So only for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, so only 2 years.
I was going to say a lot ruder than that.
Sorry, Siobhan.
Anyway. Yeah, so for the last 2 years.
Yes.
So the transition into, the work was, that side of it was fine for me, but I can see how not only changing career or starting a new career or your first ever career, on top of that you've also got to learn how to run a business, how to do marketing.
Yeah.
You know, now we've got social media.
Yes.
But you've got
and
to be
how
on
to
top
ask to be paid appropriately.
Yes.
and have boundaries in place. It's a lot. But I do think your course, you do offer
very,
a lot.
very hard, because I believe that you should just go and do things. It's no point waiting for, like, I was speaking to someone today and she was telling me, I set the website up and had something there, and I just kept tweaking it and adding things. I read more articles. I learned more how to get it more higher, you know, what's it called? Ranking on the Google and everything. And I was really admire her, because so many doulas you will wait till it's perfect. You know, before you actually let it go. And that is actually, research shows that if women are going for a job, and they read the job description, and there's 2 things out of 10 things that they can't do, that's not for me, I'm not qualified. While a man reads the description, he can only do 2 things out of the 10 things. He will go for it. He will go, I'll just, you know, I know most of this anyway. So we always want to be, so everything has to be just perfect.
And I think also maybe it's to do with the fact that kind of women wanting to come into the doula role, which is obviously sort of caring and empathetic. Of course. The type of people who would be attracted to it kind of almost feel like it's wrong to be asking for money, that they couldn't possibly charge. I think generally,
therapists and that the softer professions definitely have an issue with the business side of it, asking for money, charging for something you like doing.
It seems wrong. You should only be charging for things you hate doing.
Everything should be a chore.
But if you think about
money,
it, you know, we're on call for, whether we go on call for 24 days, whether you do it for 28 days, and actually those are the times where you're on the phone with you 24/7, but there's all the phone calls beforehand. There is the antenatal sessions, there is, you know, the birth, and that, okay, you're lucky if it's a 3-hour birth. More often than not, it's going to be a hell of a lot longer, and we don't charge by the hour.
No.
So actually, you don't want to be resenting being there.
Exactly. And you can't do it if you're not getting paid. And how many births can you do a year? I mean, you can't go and do, 50 or 60.
Burn yourself out.
Yes.
It's just not safe.
Absolutely. So I think that is a really good point. I was watching a program one evening. It was on the news actually, and it's still about this unequal pay between women and men, which we know about. But we're not going to turn it into feminist discussion, even though we are all feminists, of course. There was tractor drivers. So a tractor driver, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be paid this, but they were being paid £18 an hour. Okay. A dog walker gets paid about £15 an hour. And then when you look at the guide prices for a new mentor doula, £12. Really? You know, you have training, you go in to help a mum find her own feet on how to be a mum, how to be the mum she wants to be. You don't give advice, but you help with all the things that mum needs help with to really make her feel that she can be a good mum. What is that worth?
Exactly. You can't put a price on it.
No, you're going to keep her from maybe becoming unwell, postnatal illness. We know that's something that's very real, and it happens a lot in countries like ours where we're very isolated, where we don't have that village. We keep saying that, the village to raise a child. It really does take
and that expectation, that kind of social media expectation of being out there taking selfies on kind of day 3.
In the shopping centre somewhere. In your jeans, back in your jeans.
Size 8.
So we really need to start looking at our value as doulas and women overall. You know, we
and being proud. You know, when someone asks you for the price and you give the price, being proud that this is what I charge. This is how much I value myself. And if you think about, and I know it's a bit, maybe a bit of a flippant statement, and obviously not everyone's in the position to kind of go and buy a bugaboo or you know, matching bed sets for the nursery. It's compared to how much everything else costs. It's It's so important.
It's great.
It's like the blog that you wrote recently.
Yeah.
About investing
in experiences.
rather than possessions.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's very,
but
very true.
if you imagine, it's... Oh, thank you. Here's my producer assistant. Come.
Justin.
Yeah, Justin. What's
Breaking
news? But what was I saying? I was talking about the...
investing.
Yeah, when you look at how much is spent on a wedding, on average, in the UK every year.
Yeah.
Over £27,000. £27,000.
Definitely not charging enough then.
No, but and you think, well, so 1% of that, 2%, 10% of that.
Yeah.
I mean, what money do you spend on, another important day in your life?
Exactly.
The birth of your baby.
And speaking to women who have had doulas, and personally being a woman who had a doula, I had a doula with my my youngest child. I would have paid twice, 3 times, 4 times that much.
She's probably watching now.
Yeah.
Kicking herself.
She is. Cynthia.
I know her.
It's completely the most valuable thing to have someone there to support you and your other half.
I believe that. Well, I see that. I know that. I know
exactly.
that.
When they say thank you.
And also sometimes when you work with couples where perhaps one is not so much on board, doesn't really get what you do. Mm-hmm. Why are we spending this money? But I'm going along with it anyway because I'm not the one that's pregnant.
Yes.
And then afterwards, they're the ones that turn around and say, why doesn't everybody have a doula?
Yes.
And they go back into their office or wherever and tell all their colleagues, you've got to get a doula.
Yeah.
That's, the way to go. The way they change is amazing.
Absolutely. So I'm just looking at some of the questions coming in. And let's see what we have. A question here. We can start taking questions now. So Camilla is asking, what are the challenges for younger, not mothers, who are aspiring doulas? And how can we overcome those challenges? Well, do you mind if I start?
No, go ahead.
Because I know from experience from all the women that have come through the courses, I've been a doula trainer now for 12 years. No, hang on. Yes, I have.
So
it's a long time.
Too.
Yeah. Oh, very funny. And everyone that comes from a doula training, I don't know if you agree with me here, will sit there, come on the first day and sit there and have thought this before, no one's going to want to hire me because I'm too old or I'm too young or actually I only had cesareans or I haven't given birth or all these reasons, or I didn't have I had an epidural so I didn't really have a natural birth. All these reasons that they will come up with why they think they're not going to be hired by anyone. So I guess for some of the challenging things for a younger doula is perhaps the clientele usually are a little bit, they get younger and some of them are quite not old, but if they're a lot older than you, so say you're 18, that might not be a good time to come and do a doula course because it's good to have had some kind of doula life experience if you haven't had a child. The fact that you haven't had a baby can be a good thing too, because you have no preconceived ideas on what it should be like, what it shouldn't be like. But it is a big difference when you do have a baby. It does change. There are lots of women that are doulas that aren't mothers. And when they do become mothers, they do see the difference that it is. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can't be a good doula, because it's all about that kindness, compassion, and for the person that wants to hire you to click with you.
Yes, absolutely.
I get this a lot with the doulas I mentor. Who's going to want to book me? I've got no experience. Even though they may have given birth themselves, they still class themselves as having no experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I always say it's the connection that matters, not the credentials.
Yeah.
And that's what that is really the end of it. The bottom line is, do you connect with that person? Because you're going to be in such an intimate space with them, a very intimate time. And, you could have a repertoire of...
Exactly.
A big long list of everything you do. But if there's no connection, it's not going to work.
And I think also it's something that you mentioned earlier. If you are a mother, if you have had babies yourself, then you will be bringing that birth with you. whether it's because you had a brilliant birth experience or whether it's because you had a very negative birth experience. So I think in some respects, having not had a baby, potentially, you don't have that.
I also think a key thing to remember, and that this is for anyone that is a doula, going to be a doula, interviewing a doula, it's all how you go to that kind of meeting. If you go to a meeting thinking, oh, they're not going to hire me because I'm a mental doula. Okay, so you're already, body language is like over 70% of how we communicate.
Absolutely.
So also, if you go to a meeting with a potential client and you're kind of, oh, they're probably not going to like me because I haven't done this and I'm not that. Or you go, oh, I really want this job. I really desperately want this job. You know, people are going to sense that. So just go to every meeting, potential job, like it doesn't really matter to you. You want them to find the best doula for them, and you are there to help them do that. And you might potentially be that person, but you're also accepting that you might not be. And I think that is the key.
Can I give a bit of a tip as well?
Yes.
There is some scientific evidence behind this, although I first came across it on Grey's Anatomy before she went into surgery. The superhero stance.
Oh, yes, I have.
If you do the superhero stance, like that, really, yes.
No, it's
before
true.
you go to an interview, because you're standing.
Oh, before.
I think I've got a vision of you then opening the door. You're there like, I'm Dani Diosi, come to the rescue.
No, possibly not during the interview.
No, but they did.
Oddly.
Yeah, but they didn't even do the research where the girls were standing like this. It's for 2 minutes or a minute.
It's something because it gets the blood flowing.
And it makes you feel bigger.
And you feel, it's true. Look it up.
And they do, so you should not be sitting like this over your phone texting before you go into a meeting.
Do it, and I bet you get the job. And then let us know.
Yes, that works.
And then Siobhan can laugh on the other side of the face.
We have also a question from Natasha. She says, do we have to register with HMRC as self-employed, or is our classification something else, or do we have to do it even if we are not doing it full time? Yes.
Kicki, over to you.
Yes, you are a self-employed person, so you need
sole trader.
You're a sole trader, and you need to register with the Inland Revenue 3 months within of you starting to run a business. And what is running a business? It's basically printing a flyer or a business card offering your services. From that point, you're running a business. So even if you make 0 in profit at the end of the tax year, you still have to do a tax return. So you're classed as a sole trader, self-employed, and that's it. Even if you're not doing it full time, it's going to count towards all the other things you do. The next tax year, you can have a profit. So the profit is your income minus your expenses of I think it's £11,800. And then after, if you go above that limit, you start paying income tax.
But you would be paying your national insurance stamp.
If it's it needs to be over 5,500 in profit or something.
And if you are,
it's voluntary up till then. So you can still do that.
But if you are earning enough to pay tax, put aside 20%. Is it 20%? I should know this.
As an average, put away 20% of everything.
But that's income tax. Then you have 9% national insurance class 4 if you got over the threshold. So you really should be.
But then it's 20% of whatever you take, and then your minus your deductions. The same anyway.
Okay.
But it is because otherwise you get sort of stuck.
Otherwise you're like, oh no.
That's going to be a bit scary.
And get a really good accountant as well.
Yeah, because there's also a tax deductible.
Lots of things are tax deductible that unless you're savvy with it, you wouldn't know.
So Natasha is also making the point that she met with a midwife, and she wants to find a way to document the kind of positive research that we have about having a support person and looking at all the good things rather than the bad things. But there is a lot of research into doulas and doula support. There are many, many studies to show that it's not, it's great if we can have one-to-one midwifery support as well, but the whole difference is that doulas can work with a combination of their heads, their hearts, and the gut feeling. Because we don't have to be in our heads thinking, is this going well? Do we have to, have we got concerns for the mother medically? And the heart thing, the whole rescuing thing, we are there. I mean, it is mothering the mother. We do this because of love, really, which is a word that everyone's kind of avoiding because, but it is love. That's where it comes from. We want to support this couple to have a positive experience. Doulas are not people or women that have promoting a certain type of a birth. It's not that you have to have.
We don't come with an agenda.
No, not at all. So that is pretty much everything I think we have coming in, unless there's some final questions. Yeah, we have. We've done that one. I'm just looking at the paperwork. I'm just wondering if our producer has got some other things to bring along. Just waiting to see. Okay, so I think maybe we should start thinking about rounding up. It's been 50 minutes. It's a long time.
We forgot to mention as well that it's World Doula Week.
I've said that once.
Did you say that?
I did.
But the whole reason for this special live, we usually do all these live sessions within the private BirthBliss Doula group, and we could be doing some more here. We will be doing some more here on different topics, and maybe try and have a topic that's more specific to women that are pregnant and expecting a baby and want to find out more about doulas, and we'll do some more specific to women that want to become doulas, and maybe even something to doulas that are doulas. So I would like to say a very big thank you to Dani, Diosi, Siobhan Smith for joining me here this evening. And
thank you for having us.
No, it's been really great. I'm just looking for my producer to come and press the button to finish this live session. And as she's not turning up, I just want to say thank you and goodbye from us.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.